Hello one, hello all, my little roaches out there, my little holiday roaches. I hope you're finding extra cookies under the floorboards, slipping through, keeping you and your family of millions of children. I assume millions is the number, right, that they have? Nymphs, as we've learned. Nymphs are the baby roaches. Welcome to another episode of the Josh Potter Show. During the holiday times, you see, it's been just odd. Getting home from Buffalo, I'm still reeling from it. And then, of course, we had that awful Monday Night Football game, which we'll discuss a little bit. I know it happened a couple of weeks ago now at this point, but this is the first time I've gotten to talk to you since that's happened. We're going to remedy that soon, too, as well, by the way. But first, let's get some plugs out of the way. I do want to let you know I'm going to be back on the road again in 2022, starting at Milwaukee, at the Milwaukee Improv, making my triumphant return to the Milwaukee Improv so soon. So come on out if you missed the opportunity last time. If you want to come back, hey, I'll welcome you. Also, going to be going to Levity Live in West Nyack, New York, the week after that on January 30th. The 23rd, by the way, is when I'll be in Milwaukee. I don't know if I said that, but the 30th, I'll be at West Nyack, Levity Live. And then on the 2nd of February, I will be at the Pittsburgh Improv. And on the 3rd of February, I will be at the Raleigh Improv. Look how I remembered all of that off the top of my head. I also want to let you know about my Instagram at Josh_Potter. There, you can find links to everything in my world. Also, you can find them at my Twitter at J_Potter if you want to go check that out as well. Or just Google things. It's really that simple. The Roachies are coming up, friend. I'm excited. It's our year-end event. Kirsten, do you want to give people a little preview? I'm putting you on the spot, but do you want to give people a little preview of what the Roachies might entail?
Yeah, well, I mean, we are going to be looking for some of the best sports stories, some of the best news stories, and some of those might, entail you yelling at Terry Pagula, and maybe our boy Cecil mixed in with some of that.
Okay, so you're giving a little hint to some of the nominees, perhaps?
Yes, and then, we're also going to hear about, who's one of the best reporters, some of the music we've heard as well.
Oh, so some of the people who have submitted things to joshpottershow@gmail.com, whether they be a news report, a sports report, whatever it may be, we're crowning a Roach Reporter of the Year almost. Absolutely. Dare I say that's the name of the award? Do we have one of those?
An award?
For Roach, is it called Roach Reporter of the Year?
Yes.
Okay.
Sorry.
No, that's what I was like. Dare I say it is called that? It very well could be. But I'm excited for that. That's coming up at the end of the year. So tell all your loved ones if perhaps you think you're going to be nominated. Subscribe to the YouTube channel. Hit that little bell. All those things go a long way. And if you're just a person who listens on audio, whether it be iTunes, Spotify, or the rest, first of all, thank you for the Spotify Wrapped. Those are always fun to see. They keep trickling out, and every single one of them I will share because I do care about your Spotify Wrapped, for the record. I also, iTunes. Go like and subscribe and rate and review. Get us on those charts. We pop in and out of there every now and then. It's always nice to see, like a little roach showing their head when the lights go off. I show up on that top chart, and that always helps with a lot of things. I also want to let you know something. I know we're doing a lot of laundry list of things going on, but starting in 2022, I will be launching a Patreon, and on it, you will receive a lot of wonderful things that people have complained that this show is limited in, and it will be audio only for the first couple of months. We'll see how things go. We'll get video eventually. There will be video components. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But first of all, you'll be able to get my sports takes pretty immediately on the Patreon, and there will be a stalwart standard show once a week called Potter and Bergman with my buddy Matt Bergman, and that will happen once a week no matter what. The sports takes will come pretty fluidly, so, depending on what's going on that week, but there will be gambling content. There will be live streams, perhaps, of marquee sports events that you can just watch me watch, basically, and lose my mind. All sorts of stuff happening for a very low price, so there's no link to sign up at the moment, but I want you to know it's coming in 2022, and I want you to get excited about it because the link will be dropping in the next couple of weeks. So I do hope you sign up for one very low price, by the way. It won't be anything out of hand. There's no tiers, all that kind of stuff. You'll get all of it for one low price for my little roaches out there. So do tell your friends, and I hope you get excited about that. Now, we're halfway through the Nice Boy Clock, and I do have to bring up the Monday Night Football game. As I mentioned, it was a rough one for your boy. And I have experienced now 20 plus years of heartbreak as a Buffalo Bills fan, because, I started pretty young having the heartbreak, and I grew up in the heartbreak. It's like Bane, some of these new kids, they adopted the darkness. I was born in it. You know what I'm saying? So I know heartbreaking losses, but man, just the last 3 weeks of Bills football, with the Saints game being the exception, they gave me one holiday treat. They have been destroyed. I went to the game against the Colts where it wasn't quite the weather of Monday Night Football, where it was blustery, snowy, 40-plus mile-an-hour winds, but it was close, and it was raining, which is worse to me than snow. I'd rather have snow any day than rain. You get wet from the rain. The snow, you can just whoosh, and you get mildly wet. Rain is wetter than snow. Is that a hot take, Kirsten? You've been in the snow.
I mean, it's a take that I didn't really know.
You didn't really know? Do you think I'm out of my mind? I mean,
no, I guess it does make, I think it does make sense. I feel like snowflakes are lighter.
I feel like snowflakes are lighter. Raindrops soak you, drench you, screw you up in all sorts of ways. And when you're walking in snow, your feet get less wet. Is this science? I don't know.
I agree with you there until things start to melt and everyth's slushy.
So I'd rather the snow, but yes, the slushiness. No, I get that. But the puddle, come on, a puddle this deep versus a snow pile this deep. I take the snow any day. I take my chances with the snow as far as wetness goes and lack thereof. That's all I'm saying. But so that's my point. The Monday Night Football game, I feel like, was less of a difficult game to go to as a Bills fan than the Colts game that I went to the week before Thanksgiving, where they got absolutely destroyed. At least this game was close. But the real infuriating part for those who don't follow football and don't understand football was the way that the Patriots beat the Bills. And it was in this historic way that I'm never going to forget. And I hate that they did that to me. And I'm very upset, as a matter of fact. The way that they did it was they ran the ball 46 times and they passed it only 3 times. And when I say they passed it, he only completed 2 of the 3 passes. Who is he? Mac Jones. We did a little game, Is Mac Jones a Scumbag, not too long ago. Today, I'm taking it in a different direction, and I'm digging up his past a little bit, and so many people have already done this. It's not like I did any investigative work. But I don't know if I'd want this guy to be my quarterback. And I think it's also an aging thing for me. Josh Allen is young as well. But this guy, they showed a little note he wrote in kindergarten where he was like, I want to be an NFL quarterback when I grow up. And it was in 2005. I was like, I'm going to kill myself. I don't know if I could say that in the Nice Boy Clock, but it's facetious, obviously. YouTube, learn context of things. But man, I felt like I had one foot in the grave. This guy in kindergarten in 2005. I still was a virgin, I will say, but I was an old virgin. Let's just put it that way. 2005 was 19. Yeah, 19. And this kid's in, and so there are little weird things though. We found out that Mac Jones is a child actor. And not only a child actor, a child model. And I just couldn't be like, this is my quarterback. Let's see the first image. We have it up on the screen. We see him here with the racket and everything. I mean, I did say he looks like an astronaut. Did I not? I've been saying that since Jump. And everyone talks about his dad bod and everything like that as an adult. But there's little Mac Jones in like a J.C. Penney ad. I don't know what it was for. Do we have what that was for as the caption? Did you happen to notice when you were prepping those, Kirsten, what that one was for?
No, it doesn't say.
We know that
what it was here. It just says he's a child model.
A child model, which is a icky sort of thing in this day and age. He seems well adjusted, so he doesn't seem like a child. They must have got him out just in time before he got molested, most likely. Here he is now doing, I mean, this is like creepy. I wouldn't want this to be my quarterback. But here's the real freaking, I almost cursed. We have 30 seconds left and I almost made it through the whole thing. This is where it gets really weird, and I feel like I am in a simulation. You know how they talk about the simulation all the time? Ugh, look at this creepy one. I mean, they really dialed him up. These are JCPenney commercials for sure. I mean, what could he be modeling for? It doesn't say any brands or anything like that. Yowzers. Well, the real creepy one comes in form of he did commercials. What is this commercial here? I don't know if we can watch them.
No, this is a talent show.
Oh, actually. This is the talent show. And does it have music?
I can keep it muted.
Okay, play it. No. And he just beat us. This is what makes me sick. And he didn't do anything to beat us. That was the whole point of this rant. He threw the ball 3 times. 2 of them were completed for 19 yards. He did nothing. Now, there's another commercial that exists that, people were making this joke when Cam Newton got cut from the Patriots in favor of Mac Jones. People were making the joke like, oh, this kid in the commercial, because there was a commercial from back in the day. It was like for Play 60 or whatever, one of the NFL's go outside and play kids, one of those campaigns that they have. And in it, a little kid is like, can I grow up and be strong like you, Cam Newton? He's like, sure can. And then he says something like, can I grow up and replace you as starting quarterback of the Panthers? And he was like, what? And that was like the funny commercial. Turns out the actor in that commercial was literally Mac Jones, who then grew up to do just that. I'm like shooketh by that. I don't believe in ghosts or anything like that, but that makes me go like, okay, there is a God and he's fucking with me all the time. Because holy hell. I can't believe it's literally him. I mean, he talked about it on his radio show. And he brought it up, and I think there's a quote here in it. Yeah. He says, he appears on the Kids Fun Center's parties portion of the website wearing an orange polo. Okay, whatever. He explained in the pre-draft interview with Kirk Herbstreit he tried modeling thanks to his parents. They never pushed me into sports, which was really cool. So I tried modeling, acting. My sister had done it, and there's like a modeling camp. And I was like, I'll go try it. So I don't want my quarterback going to modeling camp. I'm just salty because he beat me, obviously. Like, he's doing all the right things. He never really wanted to do it long term. It was good that I tried it, and I realized I didn't necessarily want to do that, but have that under my belt, even for stuff like this. Referencing, okay, so he goes, you're more comfortable around the camera. So he's talking about how that's why he's good at all the Belichick-esque press conferences. He used to have a personality, but then he came out and he didn't have a press. I thought he had a quote about the fact that he was in that fucking commercial at some point. Naturally, in the wake of Jones's revelation, many went searching for photos, and they dug up shots of Jones where he's wearing a tie. Am I wrong? Is that not him? I thought I read in the article that it was definitely him in that. Is my brain in such a fucked place because of Mac Jones that I'm thinking that commercial is literally real? Can we have a fact check on that? Like Mac Jones, Cam Newton commercial. Like, see if that brings up anything.
Yeah, I'm looking here, and at the end of the article, at this one, it says that he would have been 14 at the time, so he would have been too old for.
So it wasn't him. Why did I see? This is like Berenstein Bears or whatever the fuck that is. That's what just happened to me. It's like I really saw it.
Yeah, and the kid in the commercial is only like 7.
Okay, God. See, I thought I'm sitting here and now all the fucking rubes out there who got mad at me last time. By the way, I didn't even get into this is the sports for the record. Beep, 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 beep. I needed to cool down because Mac Jones is so in my fucking brain. He's got rent-free or whatever in my head that he's got me thinking that was really him in the commercial. And then he grew up and that Prodigy came true. And I'm like, what kind of world am I living in where that happens? And for the Patriots, I really do feel fucked with to levels of which I can't express. Bill Belichick, I should me too him for the mind fucking that he's done to me over the past 20 years plus. And that I feel like he's going to end up doing for the next 20 years plus. I thought it was all over. I thought I conquered this in 2020. I really did. I went to Laugh Boston, my first ever headlining weekend. I thought this is going to be wonderful. I love Boston. Cam Neely was my favorite hockey player growing up. I do hate the Patriots, however, and the Patriots decided to stick it to me one more time. They lost to the Miami Dolphins on a freak play, thus sending them to the wild card game, which occurred Saturday night at 8 p.m. when my shows were happening. I thought for sure they were going to cancel them. They did not. 150 people showed up. I was pretty proud of that, considering. And I actually scoffed at the audience because I said if this were to happen in Buffalo, this show would never exist. I mean, they would cancel the show immediately. No one would go. But they were out there because they thought the wild card game was like a bye week. And it turned out that game, Tom Brady's last game as a Patriot. So I thought I conquered the dragon. But no, here I am now. I've got Mac Jones just running circles in my brain all over the place. I'm thinking he's a child model. So now I'm like, oh, what was he in every commercial I ever saw? Was he literally the kid that usurped Cam Newton in that commercial and then it came true? Man, real, like I said, Bearstein. What is it? Bearstein or Berenstein? What's the mix up?
I think it's just the spelling between the two, but it's still Bearstein. Or it's Bearstein versus Bearstein.
Bearstein? Who knows? I used to read those books as a kid. I call them the Bearstein Bears. I'm not changing it, but they're going to be like, no, but that's the thing. It's not that. It's a different thing. You read it wrong. Today's Josh Potter Show is brought to us by Aura Frames. And during the whole pandemic thing, I got to tell you, it was difficult to stay connected to the family, especially living on the opposite end of the country. And, you want to stay connected in a more profound way than just like your group texts or your social media feeds, right?
I don't care about that, not a fig.
So I've learned through Aura Frames, I can stay connected to my family members. I actually got my mom an Aura Frames for Christmas. Don't tell her yet. It's coming up. And I'm so stoked to give it to her because it's going to blow her mind. Because not only is it easy to set up and it looks cool and everything like that, it's beautifully crafted, but also it was one of Oprah's favorite things in 2021. And it's been one of Oprah's favorite things for the past 3 years, which is unbelievable. So my mom's it's scoring points with moms, right? Doing the Oprah's favorite things, that's scoring points with moms, or maybe it's scoring points with your wife or whomever in your family right now. Take advantage because last year Aura Frames completely sold out, so you don't want to wait. Go to auraframes.com and get gifting now. That's AURA frames.com. And listeners to my podcast right here, the little roaches, all you scurrying about, can use code Josh to take $30 off Aura's best-selling digital picture frames. Again, go to auraframes.com, use code Josh, and take $30 off Aura's best-selling digital picture frames. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by ShipStation. The holidays, the most wonderful time. It's also the busiest, and it can be a nightmare if you have an online store and you're trying to get things out on time for the holidays for people to give your crafts or whatever it is that you're providing as a gift. It's got to be a nightmare at this time. You've got inventory to manage, orders to fill out, and a growing list of stressed out customers checking in twice a day, wondering whether those last minute gifts are going to arrive on time. ShipStation, the hassle of shipping out holiday orders, it melts away like the snow on a spring day. You're going to be leaving yourself happier with customers. You're going to have more freedom to run your business. You're going to be able to enjoy some much needed time off. It's the holidays for you after all. I'm getting my merch all set up, and boy, oh boy, the headaches, the swirling worry, all of that is going to melt away with ShipStation. We're going to have that happen in 2022 BT dubs, so get ready. And if you have something that you need ShipStation for right now, get on board. Make this holiday season a little brighter. Use my code POTTER to get 60 days free trial. Just enough time to handle the holiday rush. Go to ShipStation.com, click on the little microphone at the top and enter code POTTER. ShipStation. Make ship happen. But hey, look at how susceptible I am to anything that fucks with my brain. I mean, shit. I had more comments on my fucking math last week than I had on anything else I've ever done. And for the record, one person acknowledged this, that I actually, and I want to give them credit because it was the one comment that acknowledged that I did the equation right at first. But here's the thing, I have a lack of confidence. So I didn't follow through with my own math. It says, you were right about the equation, Josh. 1.2 million divided by 0.02 equals $6 million home. And that was the math I was doing. But I was like, that can't be right, because I don't trust myself. But man, there are a lot of math hardos out there. I didn't realize so many people. I don't like math. You know why? Because there's only one answer. I like to figure out the answer within the answers. But here we go. Hey, Josh, just want to preface this email by saying I love your show. How nice. Now he's going to shit on my math. I've been a roach ever since your days at YMH. Well, thank you. Proceed to shit on my math now, sir. That being said, listening to you try and figure out how much a house would be worth if you put 1.2 million down for 20% made me want to jump out of my goddamn skin. It also felt like a look into why people can't seem to figure out how to tip correctly. 20% as a fraction is 1/5. So if you multiply 1.2 by 5, you get $6.6 million. How hard is that? Yours in math, Jake. Here's the other thing, Jake. You equated it to tipping. I find that people who go in and do the math on a tip are dorks. You know what I do? If the bill's $20, I put $10 down. I know I'm over 20% every time. I tip almost two. I've been told, you're a ridiculous tipper. I enjoy that. It's part of the simp lifestyle. Even if it's a dude waiter, I don't care. Service industry people giving a little wink. It's almost, now this is just a thought I came across. It's almost as if to say, I'm still better than you, but here's a lot of money. It's fun. I don't feel that way every time, but it does help me have a little confidence when I'm able to, even in my poorest of days, I would over tip just so people would have they wouldn't pretty woman me. You know what I'm saying? They wouldn't think like, oh, look at this rube tipping me nothing. He doesn't belong here. You know what I'm saying? I'd pretty woman it. I'd throw down a big tip. They go, oh, he must be a SoundCloud rapper or something. Another email about the math. Hey, Josh, love the show. The equation you're looking for is 1.2 million times 5. 20% is 1/5 of 100%. See, this is like my brain, my eyes gloss over even reading your emails telling me how to do it. I just go, that's how every math teacher, they were like, Josh, it's just this. And I was just like, I don't even like see anymore. Numbers, I'm like, get it out of my fucking face. Can't I get a guy to do that? Big fan. Have a good one. Come out to Houston sometime. Blake. Well, thank you, Blake. Sorry I glossed over at your math that you did. It's so simple for everybody. I've aspired my whole life to never do math. You understand, right? And I've achieved it. So if I were to do math, it would actually be degradation on myself at the end of the day. But I do appreciate you writing in, letting me know what a fucking moron I am for the math. We also had some feedback at joshpottershow@gmail.com. That is the email if you want to let us know how things are in your neck of the woods. You can always send in a roach report. You can send in music the way Craftmatics has and so many others. joshpottershow@gmail.com once again is the email, but we have some feedback about truck nuts. It says, "Hi, Josh. I am now the owner of a pair of chrome truck nuts, but I didn't buy them. My brother locked them on my truck bumper, without my knowing. A lot of trucks have spare tire mounted under the bed by the back bumper. He locked them on my bumper and tucked them up on the spare tire. Nuts aren't flexible, but the cable lock is." So I don't know what that means. Cable lock? This is now we're getting into basically another area of math for your boy, and that is mechanic stuff. Even the bumper, I'm like, I don't know. I think I got to take it to the shop. I would have like a windshield wiper break off. I go, now I got to call the mechanic, get that replaced. The headlight would go out. I'd be like, now what am I going to do? I got to call the shop, see if they have any openings so I can get my headlight repaired. Yeah, I ended up learning how to change a tire and my oil and all that, but I didn't want to do it. While driving this man's nuts that were locked on by his brother, they dropped and dangled, and people surely thought I was a douchebag. But also, it hid the key inside my truck. It was a funny prank. I've since locked it on a few other friends' bumpers, and it's always come back. I would never use them in a serious manner. But also, I don't live in a trailer park. Your roach, truly, Eric. Well, thank you for that feedback, Eric. It's an interesting... This man has lived with truck nuts on his car, and he's like, I don't do it seriously. So that's what I'm wondering. How many people... do you have a person in your life? Please let us know at joshpottershow@gmail.com. Please let us know if there's a person in your life who is serious about their truck nuts. Because everyone that I've spoken to about it or heard from does it in an ironic fashion. It's almost like hipsters should be wearing the truck nuts on their fucking cars or bicycles or something. The way that people are doing it ironically. So I don't know. Let me know. I want to meet a person who is like, yeah, I have truck nuts on my car. What? I want to know that guy or girl or whomever or they, whatever it might be. I want to know them. So let me know if you have someone like that in your life. This was a email from someone who is a Crip, which I'm excited we have Crips listening. I hope we have some Bloods listening too. I know you guys don't want to fraternize with one another, but it would be nice. You know? This is, it's Pomona's own Savvy Sosa, a Crip from Pomona, and a fan. I've actually seen you twice, and we'll catch you tomorrow at the... Oh, yes, this gentleman came to the Brea Improv. Anyway, that's me. Crips equal thick, and they spell it with 2 C's. That's where thick came from. Were we talking about that? Is that how it even came up? Or we were talking about...
Yeah, you and Sarah were talking about like how a Crip would say certain things, but you were talking about the thick part first.
Yeah, because of the C's.
Yep.
So that's where it comes from. Because I don't know why they put the 2 C's in there, but because there's no B, right? I don't know. Blood equals thick with a K. CK is Crip Killer. That's why. Thank you, sir. Because I was like, I don't get with the K. What the hell? What's going on? CK means Crip Killer. So they erase all the CKs and they make it 2 C's. Dick, 2 C's. So Crips like myself change everything to double C's, no K's after C's. Shout out to all the roaches. And Castellanos at the plate. Oh, he wrote Castellanos is at the plate. He meant Castellanos. That's funny. I love you, buddy. Thank you for writing in. And I would love to hear the Bloods give me a little brief on their language, too, if there's any Bloods listening out there. I would hope we have an equal faction from both sides. I don't take teams. It's like politics. I'm not on either side. Let's get to the news, though, shall we? I should probably pull up my soundboard. And it's always the headline, and people, they don't want to hear. There's fatigue in the world But that doesn't mean the news stops when it comes to raising awareness of semen terrorism.
In Walmart.
This is from Ryan Yadlowski, a Roach reporter out there who submitted via joshpottershow@gmail.com. It says this was a meme and said this lady had lost 90% eyesight in one eye after her brother ejaculated in her face as a prank. But it turns out the real story is she accidentally superglued her own eye shut. She got debris in her eye and asked someone to bring her Visine, but they accidentally poured glue and used it to apply fake, the glue that they used to put on fake fingernails. And she didn't have insurance to get medical help, so it stayed shut for 9 days. Do we have this meme?
Yeah, let me pull it up real quick.
I'd love to see it because everyone was going like, her brother came in her eye as a prank. So this is actually someone, how after there's an explosion, think about the Pulse nightclub, right? The Pulse nightclub tragedy. I'm comparing it to that. Yes, get ready. Buckle in because it will make sense. When that happened, instead of everyone looking at it as a lone wolf situation or like a mass shooter, because it was a man who was a Middle Eastern gentleman who was repressed in his homosexuality, and he lashed out against the community of gay people. Instead of looking at it like that, when it happened, Al-Qaeda goes, oh, a Muslim guy did that? Yeah, that's us. That's what they did all the time. They take credit. Oh, yeah, that's us. We did that. And then by calling it an act of terror, you give credence to them, and then they can go boast and use it as recruiting like a college coach. Now they're like Lincoln Riley going around being like, hey, we're going to have some fun. Look what we just did. So I'm comparing this meme to that in a roundabout way. People are posting the meme trying to make it an act of semen terrorism. And they posted up there, it says, woman goes blind after syphilis-ridden brother pranks her with facial cum shot. Now, why would a brother do that? First of all, if I'm going to prank my sister, coming in her eye doesn't show up on the list, and the list would be long. Also, if I have syphilis, I don't know. Then it makes it off the table even more. I mean, there's like 4 red lights in that sentence where I go, nah, not for me. So it does make sense that it is fake. It is a grandiose sort of insane, grandiose sort of act of semen terrorism that obviously not true. And I appreciate you, Ryan Yadlowski, for pointing out that the real story was she simply couldn't read between Visine and nail glue. That makes more sense, doesn't it?
So I actually read the original article, and I think it said that someone was in her driveway leaf blowing stuff, and then she yelled at them to go get the eye drops, and instead they grabbed this nail glue and just dropped it in her eye.
You can't trust a landscaper to read a label. Why would they grab? Oh, because they were in her home and she was like, get the Visine, and they just grabbed what was in their cabinet probably, or her drawer or what have you.
Yeah, and because she didn't have insurance, she just had to keep it glued shut for 9 days.
Well, is that not a statement for America and where we stand with healthcare? This fucking woman, and now she's a meme. People think an act of semen terrorism happened in her eye, all because she couldn't get adequate insurance. Such a shame. Such a shame. I bet she could sue that landscaper or whoever came in, the person leaf blowing. We'll see what happens. But we move on now to another very prolific Roach reporter who I'm not saying I would be surprised if he didn't show up as a nominee, Mr. Jason Brown. He has the headline, Woman Farts, Then Pulls Knife When Accused. Now, if that's not a juicy story, I don't know what is. What a headline. Have you ever farted and wanted to kill someone when they accused you? I certainly have never. I've never been accused of a fart. I make it known when I want it to be known, and I fart like the stealth of night when I don't want it to be known. No one has any idea I'm farting. And that's due to control. It's also due to just the way that I'm stealthy about it. I like to make it seem like I scuffed my foot as I walked by if it has to be egregious, I keep them in my body until I'm solo someplace. I smoke cigarettes. That's a great time to fart. Smoking cigarettes. If I can do one pro cigarette ad, it would be, hey, you need to fart? Smoke a cigarette. It works every time. You're alone. I'm just saying. You can avoid these sort of circumstances if you do get aggressive when someone goes, hey, did you just fucking fart? And by the way, who's being the narc out there? I'm siding with this woman. She pulled the knife on this narc. Who's the fucking fart detective out there? We don't need any superheroes out there telling us we farted. We know. Just let it exist in society, all right? You fucking white knight. A Florida woman faces an aggravated assault charge after authorities say she passed gas in line at a dollar store and pulled a knife on a man who complained about it. This man just complained about it. I can't wait to see if he has a statement. Citing a Broward Sheriff's Office report, the Miami Herald reports 37-year-old Shanetta Yvette Wilson passed gas while waiting in line at a Dollar General on Sunday and upset a nearby customer. The report says the offended customer and Wilson then got into an argument in reference to the defendant farting loudly. So this was a real ripper. It wasn't the stink, it was the loudness. And this person was probably like, that's not polite. What are you doing, you animal? Or said probably some wild shit. And she pulled the fucking knife on him, as she should. We don't need any fart narcs out there. If you hear a loud fart, you go, that woman's having a tough day. You don't need to point out her tough day to her. It says Wilson then pulled a small folding knife out of her purse and told the victim. They're calling this man the victim, by the way, because she pulled the knife, evidently. But could you imagine if they were calling him the victim of the fart? That's what it sounds like. He was a victim of farting near him. She told the victim that she was going to gut him while moving as if to attack him. Wilson was arrested and charged with aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and for possession with a knife. No, I'm just kidding. That was for the knife, not the fart at the end of the day. It's unclear if she has a lawyer at this time. Well, if there's any lawyers out there who want to help Miss Shanetta Yvette Wilson, because I could imagine you get some wonderful pro bono work over this and, it'll help bolster your resumes going forward. This is a clean, open and shut case, if you ask me.
I mean, they're reporting it as a fart, but I just gotta say, what if this was like her literal queef of the week?
That's true. We don't know what it was. If she was queefing that loudly to disturb, where she could, can you queef standing? I mean, some people can, I'm sure, but it's like every video I've seen, which has been a lot at this point, has been them like manipulating their body in some sort of way. We're going to have Molly Stewart on in January, someone who sent in the most elite queef of the week. And she has video of it, which I can't show. I posted it on Instagram. I don't know if I've gotten canceled off Instagram or shadow banned because of that. But I would say, even if it was a queef, this man is still the queef of the week, if you ask me. I have it here.
Queef of the week.
I'm sure her fart was much louder than that. But even still, I side with the woman. I don't approve of fart narcs. I just don't. I'm sorry. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by Policygenius. Policygenius is wonderful because if you have a person who relies on you financially in your life, whether it be a kid or a wife or a husband or anybody, I mean, it could be a business partner, for God's sake, you're going to need life insurance. And you also need other types of insurance as well. And Policygenius knows how to lump them all together, get you a package that is affordable, and you don't have to go scurrying about like the roach that you are to go find these things. They bundle it all together for you. It's a very wonderful service. Having coverage through your job may not be enough, by the way. So if you have that, Policygenius can help you get additional insurance. Most people need as much as 10 times more to properly provide for their families. Typically, life insurance gets more expensive as you age. So if you're a youngster out there, good time to hop on board. And it's just as simple as heading over to policygenius.com/Josh, answering a few questions about yourself. And in a couple of minutes, you're going to be able to work out how much life insurance coverage you need, compare personalized quotes to find your best price, and you could save up to 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policygenius. So right now, go to policygenius.com/Josh, to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/Josh. Today's Josh Potter Show also brought to us by the fine folks at Dadgrass. I got to give the fine folk at Dadgrass a pat on the back. I wish I had the Dadgrass packaging to show to you like I did on previous ad reads, but guess what? I gave them to my dad for Christmas. I gave him a whole Dadgrass package, as a matter of fact, and it's really opening his eyes to just some of the beneficial factors to THC because it's such a mild level of THC. The great comparison is, why drink a whole bottle of wine when you can just have a glass? That's what my dad would prefer. He's not trying to go to outer space quite like your boy is over here every time. You know what I'm saying? It's the perfect gift for anyone on your list that could use a little mild buzz. New York Magazine called the CBD product that convinced me CBD was actually a thing. I've been skeptical in the past too, and Dadgrass helped open my eyes. So you can right now, maybe you want it for yourself. You're looking to chill out, kick back, truly enjoy the holiday season. Score a pack of Dadgrass for yourself. Now you can go to the family party, get a little, do, and you're not toasted and looking like a scumbag at your holiday party. You know what I'm saying? Dadgrass, completely legal, by the way. Organic, smokable hemp. And they also have tinctures that can relax your body and mellow your mind. It's 100% organic pre-rolled joints and tinctures with very low THC and high CBD, so you can enjoy the effects of CBD while keeping a clear head. And right now, Dadgrass is offering my listeners, the little roaches all over the world, 20% off their first order when you go to dadgrass.com/Josh. Go to dadgrass.com/Josh for 20% off your first order. That's dadgrass.com/Josh. One thing that's been going on back in my hometown, though, and this is a wild story I wanted to get into before we get into more lighthearted things. It involves Niagara Falls. Now, Niagara Falls, always a mysterious bitch to me. I think of it as a woman, Niagara Falls. And ever since I've been going there, living in the area, 10 minutes away, my entire life pretty much, you are finding yourself taking family members who come visit town. My father is he was born in Egypt and he's Greek, so he's got family over in Europe and in Africa, and they come visit and they want to go see Niagara Falls. Everyone who visits wants to go see Niagara Falls. When I was emceeing at the comedy club, all the comics, can you drive me to Niagara Falls tomorrow? Sure. Took many a comic, took many a family member. I've gone there at least twice a year since I've been alive, probably. And I've always been fascinated by it. It is wild. You hear people say, when you stare at it, it makes you want to climb in. And I love that feeling. I don't know what it is. I love getting real close and just imagining what it would do to me. It's really wild. Maybe that's why women have fantasies about rape. It's the same thing. I fantasize about that falls would just fuck me up. And I imagine there's the point of no return. I've seen all the stuff. And my mother used to regale us in stories of people who went over the falls. And she told us a story. There's a story of a boy, and I believe it was back in the 60s or 70s. And this boy had fallen off of a boat. And he was very small. And he had his life vest on. And all attempts to catch him before he hit the point of no return were failed. So he ended up going straight over the falls. But because he was so light, he actually propelled his body from over the rocks, and he was able to fall into the, river below and not be harmed. Got picked up by the Maid of the Mist, lived to tell about it. He's done talks. He doesn't really like talking about it, believe it or not, but he's done interviews and things like that with local media in the past that I've been privy to. And, as I got to be an adult, there was a man called Kurt Jones, and everyone suspects trying to kill himself, went over the falls, but he did it in a way where he just laid on his back, and it also propelled him out because he was a thin, wiry man. And he lived, and he acted like he did it on purpose. But everyone's like, did ya? And then he did it again, but this time he wanted to do it in a barrel, not realizing the physics behind why he lived last time, and that one killed him. So maybe he got his wish at the end of the day. But I'm always fascinated with things going over the falls, people going over the falls. There's all the time jumpers. It's wild. It's just a dark, dark place, and people want to go look at it. It's just crazy to me. And recently, there was a story of a car that had gone into the Niagara River. You hear about this every now and then. People driving into the Niagara River. The highway's very close to it. The Peace Bridge nearby. There's roads near there. And this was an old woman who drove into the Niagara River, evidently, and her car was swept down toward the falls. And she had died somewhere along the way. There's the video of the car being there. Now, I'm sitting there reading the story. I go, oh, that's terrible, obviously. This woman died in the falls. 60-something-year-old woman. But then a couple of days went by, and they're like, the car is getting closer to the brink. And I'm like, the car's still in the that's like a tourist destination. Can you go back up to that image at the top? That is like where the fire department is and all those people. That is like where tourists go and like take photos and things like that. Obviously, it's roped off. Can you imagine being a Japanese tourist now? Already, by the way, I always feel polite for the Japanese tourist, because if I'm a dad in Japan, I'm like, yeah, I'm going to book a trip to Niagara Falls for my family. I'm going to book it on the American side of things. And then you get to the American side and you're like, holy shit, it looks like Johannesburg here. Like, people are scary. Like, it's rough on the American side. Anybody who's ever been, never take your vacation on the American side. Do it on the Canadian side. If I can leave you with one message, it's so much more fun. It's beautiful. The American side is a nightmare. And anyhow, that is where people can stand and go look at things and take pictures. So they're just like leaving this car there. I'm like, isn't there a dead lady in this car? I found out that they actually airlifted her out of her body out of the car. Someone had to go in there, get her body out of it, but they couldn't get the car out of the rapids, you see. So go down to that helicopter stuff. That's where they are. There's a video here. There it is. Yes. There. So this is like a man had to go down in there and like get her body out of there, or a woman. I don't know who did it. But that's insane to me. And then the car, obviously the car is like tough. They have to get like a crane in there or something to get it out. They don't know how to get the car out. Or does it just go over the falls? If it goes over the falls, that car is a part of the falls forever. You're going to see it when you're doing Cave of the Winds, walking amongst the mist. You're going to see that shit down in the fucking in the fucking rocks. It's like really fucked up. So I just found this wildly interesting. And then come to find out, a woman who died when her car went into the icy rapids above Niagara Falls likely drove into the river on purpose, authorities said Thursday. The New York State Park Police said entry into the water appears to be an intentional act. The driver, a woman in her late 60s, who lived in the area, was pulled from the river on Wednesday by the U.S. Coast Guard swimmer who descended by cable from a hovering helicopter, landed on top of the mostly submerged vehicle in the churning waters, then climbed in through its window. Insane. Not even to rescue anybody. I mean, the woman was dead and he did all this insane stuff. I mean, that has got to be the ultimate adrenaline, is the person who does the Coast Guard for Niagara Falls. And I don't know if it's like, they do have teams of also rock climbers who have to go down there and retrieve bodies and stuff. There is some fucking gnarly shit going on at Niagara Falls, my friend. And this is the kind of things that I was obsessed with, having to go visit it so often. I wasn't like, oh, it's how many gallons going over? It powers the whole eastern seaboard. As of Thursday, the car remained mostly submerged in the fast-moving water about 50 yards upstream from the edge of the waterfall. Officials were trying to determine how it could be taken out. Authorities have not officially identified the woman who died before rescuers could get to the vehicle. Her cause of death is still being determined. I think it was from driving into the river, though. Probably. It's unclear how exactly the car got into the Niagara River. Witnesses reported seeing it floating near a pedestrian bridge. It could have been an accident, too. I mean, like I said, there are roads nearby there, but it's also a little bit of a sticky wicket trying to get down and drive around in there. There's trees and shit, so. Hell of a way to kill yourself, though, I gotta tell you. If you're gonna go rank suicides, this lady, that's a hell of a one to do. I'm just driving down the falls. What if that was what she wanted? Just a car to go over the falls? She didn't make it to the end, though, unfortunately. Elsewhere in the news, we have a very fun video to round things out, as dark as that got. But I want to... Oh, we talked about the woman farting. Let's see. We have... we talked about the fart woman. I had 2 people talk about the fart woman. Or was that an article accompanying it?
I thought there was just one.
Oh, no. We just had it in here twice. Interesting. That's funny. So I must have grabbed it twice at some point there. But we do have this video. Let's just get to it. What do you say? Now, this is a video that's very fun that I think you're going to enjoy. It's a woman who's describing having sex with an alien. Let's give it a listen.
After Derek and I got married, one night, this other Derek appears in our bed. The real Derek is lying down next to me. Other Derek sits right up out of him. It startled me. I knew that was not Derek. And so I asked this critter, "Who are you?" Because he clearly wanted to have sexual relations.
Can you pause it for a moment?
And I said,
She's like, this other, the name of it was Derek? This other critter?
Yeah, it's other Derek.
Other Derek. This critter. I'm scared that she's going to have confused aliens for
The inner city blacks.
Let's see what else she says. I'm nervous.
he said, "Come on, I'm your husband." I said, "Who are you?" And he had the nerve to claim to be Ahasuerus.
That sounds
Xerxes.
Mexican. Oh, never mind.
Well, other Derek seriously wanted to invite me to use my free will to do something that was going to pull me away from God.
What's that?
So this last time, I knew he was really desperate.
Wait.
And I asked him
Pause
again,
it real
who are...
quick. So, other Derek, who I'm still convinced is a minority, I'm pretty sure he's come back multiple times. Is that what she's saying? And now this time she's relenting?
Yeah, he wants it, and this time he really wants to pull her further from God.
And that means bone.
He trying to fuck.
Okay, let's see what else she says.
Are you? He told me the same answer, and I said, "I am not going with you." This was an internal dialogue. Finally, I said, "I've had enough." In my mind, I reached up. I grabbed his face, and I said, "You are a liar, and Jesus is real." And I pulled that face off, and beneath it was a reptile.
Oh, my
And
Lord.
he had little creatures with him this time. He brought these little halfling creatures, and they looked like, I don't know, gargoyles. They were very reptilian as well. So beneath that face of Derek was a reptilian serpentine creature, probably similar to what was visiting the Anasazi.
Wow.
Well, the Bible says...
So did she fuck it or what?
Sounds like she didn't fuck it.
She was, I saw his giant dick and I didn't fuck it. I'm still convinced it was not an alien. Maybe an illegal alien, but what a fun video that one was. Was that submitted by somebody or was that just me finding something wonderful on the internet? I can't remember. I wanted to give credit where credit's due, but I'll give credit to my fucking self. I don't give a shit.
I can't remember this was from last week, I think, but if there is someone, I'll put a little thing at the bottom.
All right. Well, and if it's not, it's me, baby. So you give credit right here.
Also, I don't know what telethon type stuff's going on down here, but if you look at the bottom, they're selling the Great Delusion DVD set, which I think is just so
It's
fitting.
called The Great Delusion?
Yeah, and here she is talking about other Derek, the reptilia.
Interesting. It's a little on the nose, but obviously the Great Delusion will be our own delusion in not believing these things, right?
Idiot woman!
But I think that's a good, decent place to wrap up for today. And I do want to remind you again that we will be launching a Patreon come 2022, which I'm very excited about. And like I said, if you're looking for more up-to-date sports takes, if you're looking for gambling content, live streams for various sporting events, but most of all, you're going to get a brand new podcast and a whole different podcast from this one. So that's the bare minimum. And I hope you do join it when it does come about. In the meantime, though, go over to my Instagram at Josh_Potter. Go over to my Twitter at J_Potter and get tickets to all the shows coming up in 2022. We have the Milwaukee Improv on January 23rd. We have West Nyack Levity Live in West Nyack, New York, come the 30th of January. And then on the 2nd of February, it's the Pittsburgh Improv. And on the 3rd of February, the Raleigh Improv, and we'll have more announced down the road. So I do hope you join us for that. Thank you very much for joining us for another Josh Potter show. Please subscribe to YouTube if you're watching this bad boy. Hit the bell so you're reminded that we come out every Tuesday. And also, if you can, if you're an audio person, rate, review, and leave a nice little note about it. Subscribe on there as well. Get us back up in the charts where we were, and that would be wonderful. Thank you so much to Kirsten. Thank you so much to all the Roach reporters. JoshPotterShow@gmail.com is where you can submit your Roach reporting, and you can also submit music, remixes, whatever you like. JoshPotterShow@gmail.com is the place to do it. We will see you next Tuesday with a very special guest right here on The Josh Potter Show.